This is Nellie, Ordinary People, Saintly Souls, and I am summarizing for you some of the things Maria Valtorta, the Italian mystic, saw about the life of Jesus, and these are the scenes that lead to the time of the crucifixion. So we talked about Palm Easter, and then I told you that Jesus went outside the town because he didn't want to stay, and Judas was very disturbed that he was not going to be in one place where he could be captured. And so he is outside and he is taking a little nap among several people. And then I am now reading from section 509, which is page 209 and 2010 of the poem of the Man God, the fifth volume. And this is about where Jesus goes back into town because he wants to sneak back into town, but as it turns out, at night the gates are closed. And so he comes up to the gates and he tells the soldiers see him coming, and he tells the soldiers, I am Jesus of Nazareth, and my mother is in the town, and I'm going to her. And so one of the soldiers says, oh, the man who brought back the dead man from Bethany, by Jove. Finally, I can see him. And he approaches Jesus, looking at him curiously, walking around him as if he wished to make sure that it is not something unreal, something strange, but that he's truly a person, a man. And he says, the Roman soldier says, stop, looking at Jesus, oh my goodness, you are handsome as Apollo, but exactly like us. And you are not carrying a baton, a stick, or a cap, or you don't have any sign of power. The soldier is perplexed, and Jesus looks at him patiently and smiles gently. So let me turn the page. And the other soldiers actually comment on Jesus, because it seems that day a young girl died right after the procession into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. A young girl died, and one of the soldiers says, oh, it would have been really good if he had been there halfway through the first watch, which must be sometime during the night, when that beautiful girl who died this morning was taken to her sepulchre, to her grave. He could have risen her. He could have brought her back to life. Then Jesus says, may I go to my mother now? And so after a little bit talking to and fro, they say, well, we are not allowed to let you pass, but since we know you, okay, but don't tell anybody. So they tell him, peace be with you. And he says, peace be with you. And they say, we are warriors. But Jesus says, the peace I give lasts also in wartime, because it is the peace of the soul. So now he's in the town, and they can no longer see him. And they talk among each other. And they said, oh, you should have asked him. Because, what he means by saying that the peace is also with us during war. Because he never despises us. He is the only one who does not look down on us. And he never annoys us, replies one of the soldiers. Oh, the other soldier says, I didn't dare to say anything to him. I'm nothing but a peasant from Benevento. How can I speak to him? And they say he's a god. What can I say to him? The others say, I got riding the donkey. Ha ha. He was drunk, as if he was drunk as Bacchus. He might do that, but he's not drunk. I don't think he even drinks honeyed wine, one of them says. Don't you see how lean he is? As in, he's not fat from eating too much and drinking too much. So then one of the cynics among the soldiers says, oh, I don't believe in anything. Believe me, the gods are idle stories, and Olympus is empty, and the earth has nothing. And so they say, he says, you're childish. You don't know, You don't know that Caesar wants us to believe in gods, but it's just to keep power. And the rites, the rituals, they're because the people like them. So this is the cynical soldier talking to his friends while Jesus is visiting his mom. They are useful to the priests and to Caesar. So then the soldiers continue, but one of them says, I still would like to hear more about this Jesus. And so then we have a long section, which I will not mention, where where you can see Jesus visiting his mother, right? And one of the soldiers kind of is waiting for him. He positions himself at the wall around Jerusalem, and then at one point sees him come back. A couple of hours later, he sees Jesus come back, and he says, and Jesus says, "Hail, have you been waiting for me?" And he says, "Hail, I've been waiting for you." And he says, How can a man who is at war be at peace?" He asks Jesus. "The temple of peace is closed when Janus's temple is open," so that's the god of war. "The two things cannot be together in the same world." Then Jesus says, "It is true, peace and war cannot be together in the world. The one excludes the other. But a warrior, a soldier, can have peace even if he is ordered to fight in a war. My peace can be with him, because my peace comes from heaven, and it can never be upset by the rumbles of war or the ferocity of massacres. It is a divine thing. It invades the divine thing that you have within you, which is called the soul." "Divine? In me?" says the soldier. "Caesar is divine. I'm just a son of peasants. Now I'm a private soldier, and I'm brave, and maybe one day I'll become a centurion, but I'm not divine." Then Jesus answers him. He said, "No, there is a divine part in you. It is called the soul. It comes from God, from the true God. So it is divine. It is a living gem inside every person, and it nourishes itself and lives with divine things, faith, peace, and truth. War does not upset it. Persecution does not injure it. Death does not kill it. Evil only, doing what is ugly, wounds or kills it. And it also deprives it of the peace that I grant, because evil separates people from God." And then the soldier asks, "What is evil?" And then Jesus says, not to believe in God and worship idols, when the goodness of the true God has made one know that there is a true God." So remember what he says. He doesn't say to believe in God. He says only to believe in God when you have heard about it. You might not know this naturally. Someone told you about it. "And what is evil too is not to love your father and mother, brothers, and your neighbor. To steal, to kill, to be rebellious, to be full of lust, and to be false, that is evil." "Oh, then I cannot have your peace. I'm a soldier and I'm ordered to kill," says the soldier. "So there's no salvation for us." "No," says Jesus, "you should be just in wartime as you are in peacetime. You have to do your duty, but you can do it without being cruel and without being too eager." Because he says, when you fight and conquer, remember that the enemy is like you. And that in every town there are mothers and girls like your mother and your sisters. And then be brave, but do not be brute. Do practice justice and peace, and then my peace will remain in you. The soldier says, and then, what do you mean? "Well, when I die as a soldier, what will happen to the good I've done and to the soul that you say does not die if one does not do evil things?" Jesus says, "It will live. Your soul will live. It will live, and it will be adorned It will be made beautiful with the good that it has done. It will be in a joyful peace, greater than any peace a human being can understand while on earth. And then Jesus says the famous words to him, I am the truth and the way to go to the truth, and I'm the truth and the way to go to the truth, and I am the life, and I give the life, because those who accept the truth accept life. And the soldier thinks deeply, and Jesus at the same time says, what's your name? He says, Vital or Vital, from Benevento, from the countryside of that town. And Jesus says, I will remember your name. Make your spirit really vital by nourishing it with the truth. Goodbye. And now the gate is officially open, so they must have been talking for quite a bit, and I am leaving town. This was Nellie, Ordinary People, Saintly Souls, reading from Valtorta, Poem of the Man God, 5th book, between pages 209 and 214. See you next time.